Hello, Dr. Who's here. Welcome to part 3 of my reaction video. So, if you haven't seen the first 2 parts, watch them first. I had to end part 2 early because I had to check on some popcorn that my father was making for movie night as of the recording of these 3 parts. So, anyway, the problem's been dealt with. So, here we go.
We get to learn a little bit about what makes them tick.
Here's the Christmas tree.
Do you think that's right? I don't know.
Ultimately, I think they'd actually be okay as characters if they weren't so underwritten and so tied to this ridiculous location. I don't like them, but I also don't think there isn't potential there. I admittedly would have liked to see how the Brenner era team would have handled these guys.
Yeah.
I have nothing to say about Thomas. He is stupid and unlikable, and I dislike seeing his face.
All he does is
it was nice that a little more focus was given on everyone else this year, especially compared to last season. The first half of the season only features 2 Thomas episodes, and the rest are all focused on others. It was refreshing to see characters like Diesel and Victor get the spotlight for once. Let's talk about Victor.
More newbie episodes.
Victor got his first solo role in Victor Says Yes. In this episode, Victor agrees to fix too many engines at the steamworks at once, and it all blows up in his face.
I thought you were really useful.
The notion that Victor fixes the engines himself is so dumb. He clearly doesn't. He doesn't have hands. The workmen do. So Victor getting all flustered doesn't really make any sense. But I like the idea of a story that shows Victor in a position of vulnerability. He's always clear-headed and seemingly in control of everything. But here we get a glimpse of what happens to him when he loses that control. He gets flustered and he overthinks things. It's a nice expansion on Victor's character, and a good example of showing that even the most perfect characters can have moments where they lack composure. Henry was the only main cast member other than Thomas to get more than 1 episode this year. Season 14 had a lot of Henry love. Both of his episodes deal with a similar character flaw of his. He overthinks things and worries too much. Topham even says as much.
Henry, you are an old and kind engine, but you worry too much.
Again, why do you guys think he's so old? As we all know, this was a slippery slope for Henry, because only in a few seasons' time, Henry becomes the biggest hypochondriac of the series.
Oh my god,
now, Henry has always been rather sensitive. He is the gentler of the big 3. But this overly worried side of him really got its start here, in my opinion, and it only worsens as the show goes on. I also just want to put it out there that Henry's health and safety actually makes no sense. Henry came across trucks just left out on the main line, and his first notion was to move them off the main line to avoid a collision occurring. I don't know why they were left on the main line there to begin with, but he's totally in the right to do this. Why is this episode framed like this was the wrong thing to do in this situation? That's stupid nitrogen-era writing for you.
Not that stupid.
As for the season's MVP, well, I admit it's kind of a weird choice. It's Diesel. Diesel does not appear a lot this year. He has 1 spotlight episode, a subplot in Misty Island that gets forgotten about, and, well, that's really it.
Not that
but I think what they did do with Diesel in his minute appearances was actually kind of interesting, and I think worthy of a discussion. Both Diesel's movie subplot and his episode deal with the same theme: prejudice. Diesel ultimately wants to be useful.
What about me, Thomas? I'm a really useful engine too.
But the glory of the steam engines keep him from being praised and proving himself. He didn't even do anything wrong here, but because he is a Diesel, no one pays him any mind.
I'm sure Sir Topham Hatt means a really useful steamy.
Opinion
You'll never be that.
I am never clapped and cheered.
That's because you are a Diesel.
I think it's more the Americans that
It's interesting how the tables have turned. When Diesel first arrived, he believed he was revolutionary because he was new and he didn't take the steam engine seriously. But now he's been around for so long that his hour in the sun has passed and the steam engines have outsurvived him. Now no one cares about him. Don't get me wrong, his episode still sucks. It's so boring and repetitive.
It doesn't
but
suck.
it's still
It's not
admittedly
that boring
kind of
and
nice to
repetitive.
see an episode
Only
that ends with
because
Diesel
it's about him.
getting a win for once.
It has a new
This is a
character.
major ongoing conflict for Diesel in the CGI series, especially when we get into the Brenner seasons. And it's kind of interesting seeing them deal with it head on for the first time here. It is so hard to pick a standout episode this year. It's a which one of these was the least bad kind of situation. As far as visuals go, James in the Dark was a standout, I think. It's a boring nothing episode, but it is at least quite nice to look at. When they were allowed to break free of the routine and have some creative freedom, Nitrogen really showed that they could create some artful scenes with their lighting. So screw it. I'll give the standout to this one. The worst is a no-brainer. It's Thomas and the Snowman Party. This has got to be one of the laziest written episodes so far. The plot is about children missing a hat for their snowman, so Thomas keeps an eye out for one on his travels. He finds 3 different ones, and he just takes them. He literally steals them. The worst part of it is, they show his crew walking out and grabbing them. Thomas's driver and fireman have no agency anymore. They have fully just become robots.
I think it's because the FBI
They're the engine's
sued him.
hands. That's it. Thomas's driver steals the hats, and then Thomas realizes he stole hats. Oh no. So he goes and returns them. Was this really the best
And does he
that
get
they could come up
arrested?
with? They had to write 4 winter episodes for this season. And
Look,
this
oh,
is what was
I just
greenlit.
noticed a picture that looked
Thomas
like a painting from Hero the
stealing
Rails.
hats.
That's a nod.
Okay.
I love it.
Do you guys remember when
No,
this
Mr.
show was
Myers
about
Spec-
trains? The second worst is
Lol,
also a
and
winter one. Henry's
Okay, as
Magic
I was saying,
Box.
in my respectable
This
opinion-
might be the most padded out episode
like they
I have
said,
ever seen in
walking
this
under
show.
a ladder is
Now I know
bad
saying
luck.
one of these episodes
And
is
as
dumb
Kevin
is like
McCraffy
saying
said
water is
in-
wet. But man,
in World's Dumbest
what
by True
even
TV,
is
I'm
this
reacting
plot?
to a video, Dad.
Topham tells Henry
Sorry, that
to
was my
watch
dad.
a
Anyway,
box.
as I was saying,
And that's
as
the
they
episode.
say, walking
Henry
under a
watches
ladder is
box,
bad luck.
leaves it, then comes
and
back,
as Kevin
leaves,
McCraffy of World's
then
Dumbest
comes
by
back.
True TV once
It's
said, having
nothing.
your whole stunt
They
team
extracted
stand under
whatever
ladders
they
is
could
terrible.
out of this plot.
But
because
as
they could only get
I'm
like
saying,
5 minutes out of
stealing
that,
3
they then had
hats
to
for a
stretch out
simple
whatever they
snowman
could
is
to fill
horrible
the
luck.
runtime. So there's this whole drawn-out sequence of Henry telling the others about a festival
reacting
happening
to a
later.
Thomas video.
One by
Yes.
one. It is excruciating. What an utterly nothing episode.
It's not
Again,
that much of a nothing
this
episode.
Is what
it's
was
a
greenlit?
special, dude.
Henry felt silly. Again.
As for the sum up, I guess I'll give it to Pop Ghost Thomas. It's like the most generic, boilerplate, by-the-numbers, nitrogen-era episode ever. You all know the formula. Thomas has to deliver a special for the children. He makes one mistake while delivering it. Then he makes a second mistake. Then he makes a third mistake that's the worst of all. Uh-oh. Thomas ruined his special. But it's okay. Once he admitted that he was wrong to do what he did,
I'm
he goes
glad
back
he
to get the
immediately set
convenient
things
second
right, like he
special.
knows
Because Sodor
what to do
always
in a
has a backup
situation.
standing by just in case, right? Then he delivers it, and everyone laughs and is happy. Hooray. I'm so tired of this crap. These episodes all feel like they were written in a single night. It's not
That's not
offensively
true.
terrible or anything. It's just formulaic, an embodiment of this whole season.
It's not
Now
that
for my
bad.
favorites. Well, I actually have one this time, and it's Jitters and Japes. Now it's nothing amazing, but I think it's actually a solid episode for this era. Thomas is tasked with taking Dowager Hat on a tour. Taking into account that Dowager is old, Thomas asks Toby for advice on where to take her, who tells him that older folk like to take it slow. So Thomas does just that, and Dowager finds the tour boring. This is the first time that they really let themselves have fun with Dowager Hat. She is an inherently silly character. I mean, when you have Keith
Well, I
Wickham
love the
voicing
scene where
her,
Annie and
why
Clarabelle
wouldn't
Thomas
you
go on
take
the Shake,
advantage
Shake
of that
bridge.
opportunity?
Make me quick until I shake.
Shake, make me quick.
The animation on her is also
until I
really
shake.
expressive and fluid. especially here during her freakout scene.
It isn't that I don't want to do it anymore. Take
don't
me
want to
back
do it
to
anymore. Take me
Sodor
back to Sodor
at
at
once.
once.
They must have realized pretty quickly how much comedy they could derive from this inherently funny character, because she becomes a recurring character in pretty much every season after this. And I ain't complaining. I love Dowager Hat. Who doesn't? This episode is like the only one all season that Thomas is not an idiot in. His decisions make sense here. He was taking Dowager into consideration when taking her on her tour.
In my opinion, some
and only after
decisions
a
make more
conversation
sense
with
than you
her
think.
does he realize it's not what she wants.
Just haven't
Well,
got
you
to know it
didn't.
episode.
I
All I
wanted
did was
thrills
had to
and
get to know
spills
some
and
of the
jokes
episodes,
and
and
japes,
I did.
jitters and flitters. That would be fun.
I don't know what any of those things are.
That would have been my reaction too. What the hell is a jitter or a flitter? What does she even mean by that? This also might be the only time in the whole Nitrogen era where Toby is depicted fairly in character, as an old, wiser engine that Thomas looks to for advice, not the pathetic beta who's afraid of wind or whatever the hell happened in his episode. Overall, jitters and japes? Solid. I didn't hate it. I also kinda liked Thomas's crazy day. Not because it was a good story or anything. I purely liked this simply for Cranky. I respect how little of a Cranky gives about the logging locos in this. Thomas leaves him to watch them for a bit, but he doesn't care, and he just doesn't talk to them.
Cranky doesn't want to talk at all.
It's not my job to talk to engines.
Then Thomas leaves again, and when he comes back, Cranky is literally loading Ferdinand onto a ship to get rid of him.
This is not right.
I freaking love Cranky, man. He really doesn't give a single damn about any of this nonsense. These guys are
He's
annoying,
pretty honest
so
about the
I'ma just
logging
get rid of
loco.
them. Off to Timbuktu you go, Ferdinand. Cranky is so real for that. The word I'm going to use to describe this season is cookie cutter. And I think that sums it up pretty well. Every episode is the same. None of them really try anything new or do anything bold. These all feel like stories that were written in a single night. Misty Island Rescue is torturous, but I will give
Not
it this.
that torturous.
It was something new, at least. I think it was too high concept of an idea to really work in the Thomas universe, but I can't fault the show for trying to push the envelope with it. It does not excuse how badly it's written, though. I think the season itself, however, is a slight improvement over season 13. The writing sucks hard, but it was kind of interesting seeing the kernels of stuff that eventually developed into major cornerstones of the CGI series in this. Things like Dowager Hat becoming a comedic recurring character, and Diesel's whole fight against Diesel prejudice. It's not necessarily all good things, because some things we hate about the CGI series started to blossom here too. The most notable thing being Henry becoming a hypochondriac. If we include Misty Island in this, then I think season 14 on the whole is a worse overall experience than 13. With it included, I would say it might be the worst of the Nitrogen seasons, but I still haven't rewatched season 15 yet,
Not
which
the
I do know
worst.
from memory is also pretty awful. So we'll just have to wait and see. We're halfway through the sludge, people. Only a couple more of these until we get to the good stuff again. I can see that Brenner-shaped light at the end of the tunnel, and it can't come sooner. For this pick of the week, how about some good CGI Thomas content? This is The Sad Story of Glyn by Mainland Studios. Written by Chase TFE and created for the 80th anniversary on May 12th, this is a prequel to The Adventure Begins, showing what the life of the original number 1, Glyn, was like prior to Thomas's arrival. This shows how Glyn ended up at that sighting at Farquhar, and how Gordon and the others all knew him, etc. It's a clever, touching story, and I recommend it. Go check it out.
All right, well,
I'd like to
actually
give
would
a
like to
big
see
ol'
that.
thank you once again to Trampy, who yet again endured some truly terrible Thomas content with me for this video.
Not
We changed it
that
up a little
terrible.
bit this time and did a watch-along to Misty Island instead. A highlights reel of that is now up over on my second channel, The Lucky Tug. Link is in the description. The full hour-long uncut watch-along is available on my Patreon. Join today and you can watch our reactions to the entire movie in full. Link, again, is in the description. I'd also like to shout out a new up-and-coming channel. It's called Talking Trains, created by Hat Loving Gamer, aka the guy who made the Thomas GTA parody videos.
Talking Train
this new
remake
channel
of
his
Ranger
is dedicated
and Silver
solely
Streak,
to his train animations,
etc.
He has a new video on the way called Thomas and the Thunderbird, narrated by the one and only Mark Morahan.
Yes!
Head on over and subscribe. And this is the part of the video where I was going to plug my eBay shop. I've been doing some late spring
I want to buy
cleaning,
2 of those
and
trains.
finally sat down
I'm now
and
an
went
HO
through
scale
all
guy
the model
now. I was
trains in my
originally an N
collection
scale guy,
that I'm
but
ready to part with.
Unlucky Tug,
I'm
you
not
pretty much
offing my
inspired me
entire
to make
collection or
to go to
anything, don't
HO
worry.
scale.
These are all just the
and make
ones
my
that
own
I haven't
custom
looked at in a
models.
long time.
That,
I don't really need anymore.
but exactly
I would
when
say
will it
if you're
happen?
in the US and
Depends
interested in some
on
British
how
model
long
trains,
it takes
here's your
for me to
chance.
learn.
And check out my eBay shop. But everything's sold. I posted everything on eBay earlier this week with the intention of plugging in this video, but I underestimated how quickly everything would sell. Everything sold in 2 days. I am just
looks like I'm too late.
flabbergasted. Thank you to everyone who bought an engine. I hope you enjoy them, and I hope you all give those engines a good new home. I'll eventually put more stuff up at some point, so keep checking back. Link is in the description.
Thank you.
Quite a lot to get through today. Whew. I hope you all enjoyed this retrospective, and I'll see you all soon for the Misty Island rewrite. Have a great day, y'all.
Oh boy.
Bye-bye.
Let's see how rewritten it really is. Alright, that was that then. This kind of wraps up part 3. I'm so glad you're respectable about your opinions, because holy living fuck. Just watching you overreact in ways that I can barely tolerate this. I like the stuff. Some parts about it make more sense to me than they do to you. And believe me, when I get the chance in the future,
Taylor. I'm a student in future CMO,
I
and
will
I
be
am a
able to
Grammarly
explain
user.
it properly.
So when I
Don't
first got
worry,
Grammarly, my
it
mom
may
got
be
it for me
late,
my junior year of high
well
school
worth the wait.
to help me with my college application.
As Sir Topham Hatt once said in Day of the Diesel, spoiler alert,
There's a platform, Grammarly's
some
AI
things
Compose
are
can help
well
me narrow
worth
down
waiting
what
for.
to write about. I can,
Anyway,
in 15,
that
20
wraps up
minutes,
the full reaction.
have a decent
Thanks
outline
for
of what I'm
watching.
going to be
Please like
writing
and
over the
subscribe
next
to the
week
channel,
or two.
and Unlucky
It's nice to
Tug,
have a
feel free
tool
to be
that
my
can
next
improve my
subscriber
productivity.
since I've subscribed to you.
Once I've fully fleshed out
Anyway,
a draft,
in fact,
I
you too,
use
Trampy.
Grammarly to start
Anyway,
looking at clarity
just
and
because
precision.
we have different
It can
opinions
tell me
doesn't
things
mean
like
we
add
can't
more
be
direct
friends.
quotes if maybe it's gotten a little stale.
Anyways,
As
see you
a
on the flip
media and
side.
journalism student, the integrity of my